Okay, this lesson is on rotations. So as you can see, I've already filled in this top section. So you will need to pause the video and get all of this information copied down, and then I can discuss it. Okay, now that you've got it copied down, first off, know that a rotation is defined as just a circular movement. We know this as a turn. Now, there are two different ways we can rotate a figure, or two different directions, I should say, clockwise and counterclockwise. And I have drawn in red examples of what clockwise and what counterclockwise looks like. So clockwise moves just like the clock moves, and counterclockwise is the opposite of that direction. So how does a rotation work? Well, depending on how you want to look at it, there are 3 to 5 different types of rotations we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about rotating figures 90, 180, or 270 degrees. So these are quarter turns. So a 90-degree turn, if I'm facing you right now, a 90-degree turn is when I am facing this direction. So you're seeing the side of my face. If I were to do a 180-degree turn, then now you would be looking at the back of my head. A 270-degree turn remember, this would be a 90-degree turn, so you're looking at the side of my face. If I were to do a 270-degree turn, I would turn 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and now you're looking at the other side of my face. That is a 270-degree turn. So we're talking about those 4 touch points, if you will. So if you're going 90 degrees counterclockwise, we said the rule is take your ordered pair, whatever it is, you're going to take the opposite of the y coordinate and keep your x coordinate. However, they switch spots. The 180-degree turn is just taking the opposite of the x coordinate and the opposite of the y coordinate. A 270-degree counterclockwise turn results in keeping your y coordinate but taking the opposite of your x coordinate, and again, those are reversed. Now, those are counterclockwise turns. Clockwise turns can have an equivalent counterclockwise turn. So I've written there in green, if you're turning 90 degrees counterclockwise, that results in the same thing as going 270 clockwise. 270 degrees counterclockwise is equivalent to going 90 degrees clockwise. So that's probably a little confusing. This information that I've got right in here is going to be super important, and you're going to definitely want to reference that as we go along. Okay, let's do some examples. So looking at the first example, it says to rotate triangle ABC 90 degrees counterclockwise around the origin. Record the points below. So let's look at the rule that corresponds to that. So I'm going to find the rule that says 90 degrees counterclockwise. So that's the first rule I wrote. And they all start off the same, just like with the translations and the reflections rules. So we have that ordered pair x, y, and the rule is going to be negative y, comma, x. Okay, so we've written down our rule, x, y, negative y, comma, x. So let's go ahead to the side. I'm going to write down the ordered pairs for points A, B, and C. Notice they've included blanks for A prime, B prime, C prime. But I'm going to come over here, and I see that A is located at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 5. B is at 2, 0, and C is at negative 3, 2. So if I follow the rule, it says the first thing should be negative y, meaning the opposite of my y coordinate. So right here, my y coordinate is a positive 5. If I take the opposite of that, that's going to be negative 5. So I'm going to write negative 5 here. And then it's telling us to keep the x coordinate the same, which was 0. So now I'm going to do it for B. I'm going to take the opposite of my y coordinate. Well, the opposite of 0 is 0. And then I'm going to take my x coordinate and I'm going to leave it the same. So I'm going to keep that 2, but it ends up being there. Take the opposite of my y coordinate, so the opposite of 2 is -2. And then the x coordinate would stay, so I'm going to keep that -3. Okay, so A prime, B prime, and C prime should be at those points. Now I'm going to plot those points on my graph and then connect them. So if A is at -5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or I'm sorry, A prime, so that's A prime. B prime is at 0, 2. And C prime is at -2, -3. Okay, so that red triangle is a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation of the original image of triangle ABC. So that's the gist of it. So we're going to follow that same procedure regardless of how many degrees we're rotating. So number 2 is a rotation. You're rotating 180 degrees counterclockwise around the origin. So I'm going to underline that. Now, 180 degrees, remember when I showed you the example, if I rotated 180 degrees right now, you would be seeing the back of my head. So if I rotate 180 degrees, whether I go clockwise or counterclockwise, you're still going to be seeing this back of my head. So when we talk about a 180-degree rotation, it doesn't matter if you're talking clockwise or counterclockwise, the rule will be the same. So we said that rule always starts with x, y, and then if I look up here, 180 degrees, so that'd be -x, -y. So I'm going to write that down. And I'm going to come over here on the side and I'm going to write the ordered pairs for points J, K, and L. So J is at -1, 2, 3, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -4, 5. K is at 0, 2, and L is at 1, 1, 5. So following my rule, it's telling me to start off, I need to take the opposite, or take -x, so the opposite of my x coordinate. Well, the opposite of -4 is +4. And then it's telling me to take the opposite of my y coordinate. The opposite of 5 is -5. Okay, now I'm going to do the opposite of 0. 0 is its own opposite. And then I'm going to do the opposite of 2, which is going to be -2. Okay, the opposite of 1 is -1. And the opposite of 5 is -5. So now I know where points J prime, K prime, and L prime should be located. I know they're ordered pairs. Let's plot them on the graph. So 4, -5, 1, 2, 3. That's J prime. K prime is at 0, -2. L prime is at -1, -5. And this is not a triangle, remember, so I just connect the points. So now I have rotated that figure 180 degrees counterclockwise. I've also rotated 180 degrees clockwise. Same deal. Let's go to number 3. So number 3 is wanting us to rotate triangle MWD 270 degrees counterclockwise. So let's go back to that first page and see what that rotation rule was. So 270 degrees counterclockwise is this rule right here. XY maps to Y -x. So I'm going to write that down. XY maps to Y -x. Again, I'm going to write down the ordered pairs for points M, W, and D first. So M is located at 2, -3. W is located at 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And D is located at -2, -2. Okay, so according to my rule, the first thing that I need to write down is the Y coordinate. Well, the Y coordinate here is -3. So I'm going to write -3. And then I need to write down the opposite of my X coordinate. So the opposite of 2 is -2. Okay, so let's do the next one. Write down your y coordinate, which in this case is a 1. Then take the opposite of your x coordinate. So the opposite of 4 is -4. Okay, write down the y coordinate, which is -2. The opposite of the x coordinate. So the opposite of -2 is +2. So now I know where M prime, W prime, and D prime should be located. Let's plot those points and then draw in the triangle. So M prime is at -3, -2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. W prime 1, -4. And D prime -2, +2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, now we have rotated triangle MWD 270 degrees counterclockwise around the origin. So now you're going to try some on your own. Again, refer back to the first page for those rules. So I do want you to do number 4, which has parts A through H. I also want you to do problems 5 and problem 6. And be careful, number 6 is talking about a 90-degree clockwise rotation. So make sure you're paying attention. All right, once you've finished 4, 5, and 6, then come back and we'll check them. Okay, now that you've had an opportunity to complete those problems, let's check. So for number 4, you had to do a 180-degree rotation about the origin. So in red, I have drawn the pre-image because that was not already drawn for us. And then I looked up the 180-degree rotation. That rule is that is xy, -x, -y. So that was the rule. And then I've drawn in there the rotation, the 180-degree rotation. The important thing to remember here is that the image and the pre-image are both going to be congruent. What's not the same? Obviously the location of the two rectangles, but the way that they are turned. So that would be the difference here. Let's look at number 5. So for number 5, you had to do a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation over the origin. So I wrote in that rule, and so that's going to be that -yx. And I used that rule to get these points, the points of the image, so M prime, A prime, T prime, and H prime. And then I graphed them using this screen. Again, please know that in the image and the pre-image, the corresponding sides are going to have the same length, no matter what. Looking at number 6, same deal, but this time it was a 90-degree clockwise rotation. So problem A is asking you, a 90-degree clockwise rotation is the same as which counterclockwise one? And that's the 270. So I wrote the rule for a 270-degree counterclockwise rotation, which is y-x. I wrote down the points for, or the ordered pairs for A, B, C, D, and E, and then used my rule to figure out where A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, E prime would be located, and then graphed them. Again, if you are having questions about any of these problems, please see your teacher. Once you've gone over the problems and made the necessary corrections, upload the assignment, and then you'll be able to complete your independent practice.